I think the honorable thing for our species to do is deny our programming. Stop reproducing. Walk hand in hand into extinction. One last midnight, brothers and sisters opting out of a raw deal.
Do not trust any friends or family members. I repeat, do not trust friends.
Objectively usually push back on any PGing of rated R properties. Like we saw what happened with RoboCop.
Fuck, did we?
That was a fucking that was the worst case scenario. And I was just like, I don't know. I don't know why, for whatever reason, I was just like pleasantly surprised by this. And I just think probably maybe I got duped because Nora was just so pleased with it.
Yeah.
And I feel like they managed to get as far as they could get with the violence because they were killing androids. So I still got the amount of shock and violence I wanted and maybe overexposed Nora. Because they were killing robots.
That's fair.
I don't know.
You see, there was also your kids' eyes.
I think that I was also surprised by Dakota Fanning's sister in her commitment to the role of an android, and then also, but I don't know where you're going from here because you took the most rated R property and you Disney blended it in with a property you just flipped over to PG. Like, so what's the point of using Wayland Yutani? You're not going to extrapolate on that because how can you?
Yeah, I think that
unless you're going to PG Alien too. Which good luck.
I think they came pretty close to that. There's pretty PG elements in some
the last
elements. One? Yeah, the Alien Earth or whatever. Like I think
I think so too.
There was also a lot of
Alien Earth. General, no. I thought you meant Alien Romulus. I was like, no, that was stiff.
Yeah, no, that was. Was it? I don't know.
It was hard R.
Well, okay.
At least it was that.
You know what I think it is? I think it's the family motif, right? I think that everybody, when they're looking to buy a product, they want to know that it's coming from a family organization that has the tools that can get the job done. And I think that's what we saw with Predator Badlands. Nice family-friendly product that one could bring to a town meeting, for instance.
Well, yeah, I can get behind that.
If one so wanted to hear on the Extinction Agenda with James.
And Chris.
Oh no, where is it? The man on the internet most likely to pretend to go quail hunting in order to swindle an old man.
Nice one.
And today we're doing There Will Be Blood, circa 2007. The same year as No Country for Old Men and, for whatever it's worth, Zodiac, which is not my favorite movie, but it is a Fincher movie. So it was just a big movie year for the big names at the time. Difficult to imagine that this is nearly 20 years old, but it is nearly 20 years old. And it's our good friend Paul Thomas Anderson with Daniel Day-Lewis. And what's Paul Dano? That's Eli, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And I guess that's your trifecta there. I mean, there's obviously the other characters and actors or whatever, but they're not they're just this sort of baseline, strange looking, competent people that Paul Thomas Anderson sort of attracts and wants, and hires and that kind of thing. I don't know if you know what I'm saying, but
yeah, like his brother.
Yes, like his brother, like the Henry guy. Yeah. No, that's a perfect example.
Like the Standard Oil guys.
Yeah. Just so. I think it's safe to say that this is a modern classic. I mean, whatever it is that we otherwise might think of it, I think that it's a big deal movie, capital M movie. Although maybe you guys disagree, I don't know. But I really like this movie, but I find myself thinking it's not one of those movies that I have any sort of nostalgic fondness for, or that you love for bizarre reasons. It's just I just feel this persistent admiration through the whole thing, and I just think it's really smart, and thoughtful, and it does reward rewatching as we go further and further into the future.
Sure does.
Yeah. How do you feel about this one, Chris?
This is one of my favorite movies, and I also hadn't watched it again after the first one. I just had the lingering, the memory of it to warm my heart at night. And watching it again, so much of it's like you do remember, but it's so good. It's every element of it. It is, like, as you say, a capital M movie. It's essentially just American. It's a land of speeches and swindlers, and like, just give me some Mr. Burns shit any day, and I'm very happy.
It is a Mr. Burns story, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was thinking, like, it's what did I first think of it? Like, it's Citizen Kane meets Apocalypse Now.
Sure.
Mixed in with like some fucking Kubrick and that kind of thing. Like, it's just big, just a big movie about a kind of like a small thing. But since Daniel,
but it's also such a big thing too. Like,
yeah,
oil has such important implications for just the way that the world works.
Yeah. James, we once talked about this movie in our first podcast effort way back when, but like, I honestly don't think we did a good job, and I literally don't remember what we said. So I don't know. I don't remember how you come off on this movie.
I don't remember either.
Okay.
But I do remember parts of this movie in my second watch through. I think I took a lot more. I'm really I'm really surprised by Paul Dano. Paul Dano was on my mind because of the Quentin Tarantino jab he took for whatever reason recently. It wasn't, I don't know why that happened or whatever, and I don't know why it was in relation to this movie, even though this movie, like you say, is 20 years old. Like, did you know about that, James?
No, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Apparently, he just said that this would have been the biggest movie of all time, if not for Paul Dano, because he was like a weak sauce piece of shit performance.
Wow, that's,
that's
not what
that was it. That was it. He just said it like off the cuff in an interview, and like, I guess it drew a lot of heat and a lot of love for Paul Dano.
Right.
And I had just freshly sort of like whatever rummaged around in the smut of that sort of what would you call that, like tabloid news?
Yeah.
And I saw Ethan Hawke do a very classy sort of like feedback on it on a Joe Rogan podcast. I don't know why I was really in the depths. I was like, why did he say that? That guy's a great actor. Anyway, but and then I just had that reinforced in because his performance in here is incredible. Really, to think he was 22 years old and playing opposite this like crazy like tour de force from like I don't know. Daniel Day-Lewis. I haven't seen a lot of Daniel Day-Lewis movies, but he's always sort of a madman. And you can tell he's deeply entrenched in his role with his funny accent that he's decided to mimic off of
himself.
Yeah, and then you can see clearly that they're attacking each other in real life in their scenes.
Yeah.
His face is beaten red during the preacher scene and also during the mud fight. Apparently that took multiple takes.
Goodness.
And he beat Paul Dano every time. He just said thought it was like sort of like a master class in like method acting. Like they were this is just like nobody took it any kind of way except for it just had to be done this way to deliver the emotion, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole movie just reeks of that kind of like physical, aggression to the tone.
Yeah, definitely everybody's committing. That's for sure. This movie commits like 5,000%. I haven't watched any behind the scenes stuff. I just want to like, how did it's probably very simple. Like they had a fire hose underneath the derrick and it would just spray water up and we put some food coloring in it, but there was thousands of gallons of food colored water in a tank somewhere.
No, I read an article about this, how that scene was filmed.
Okay.
You're talking about the explosion scene, right?
Well, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, like the eruption. They did. You're right. It did, like the oil is like a bunch. Apparently, it contains stuff that like McDonald's chocolate milkshakes are made out of. Paul Thomas Anderson said too, like as part of the concoction. But they used. They also used like gasoline, and like diesel, like a blend of it, and like they just kind of fired that out and set it on fire. And like there's like strict regulations about how. Because if it like touches the ground, then it becomes a toxic event. So they had to like work really carefully. Smoke from that event drifted over to the set of No Country for Old Men, which is filming nearby, and shut down filming for like a whole day.
Oh wow! Okay, so there's
that's crazy.
I'm surprised we didn't pick up that little trivia when we did No Country. Yeah. So anyway, everybody's committing. One of the things that maybe to stick within that like base materiality before we even get into the characters and the story, there's so much about this movie that is about occupational workplace hazards as like propulsive events, like within the narrative. I think you don't often see that, right? Like the thing about oil drilling in this movie or mining or just anything is just how fucking like they're being pretty careful, but it is a very dangerous environment that they're in, and mistakes just happen for stupid reasons, and somebody dies or breaks their leg in the bottom of a hole.
That first scene, I didn't piece this together before, but like that's him, and he's actually like mining silver.
Yeah,
and it falls down and breaks the leg, and like hauls himself up completely alone in the desert. Drags himself back to town. And then when he's like cashing in the silver, he's like lying on the floor of that shop, like just with his busted leg. Fucking great. And then it just cuts 2 years, like 4 years or whatever. It's like, yeah, this guy's found a new line of business.
I gathered that he got this. He did the silver mining, so that way he like it's all part of a step upward. Yeah. He was just like, no, I'm going to get the real money. Yeah. Start with the silver, move on to the black gold. Yeah. So there's 3 phases to this story. The first phase sort of takes place in 1898. The second phase, or 1911, and then the last phase, I would argue, is 1927 because it says so. But I think that final confrontation with Eli at the end is 2029 or 1929. The onset of the Great Depression. But there's no evidence for that other than
there is. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. Well,
that's my stocks.
Well, exactly. Right. Yeah. Like the panic, but like America always had all sorts of like economic downturns. It was like we don't feel it the same way that because capitalism is largely regulated now to some extent, right? That through interest fees, what's the word? Interest rates. There we go. That, all that shit, all that finance machinery that was set up post Great Depression. There's just more turbulence, right? So like, I don't know.
Not to jump too far ahead, but he has that line. He's like complaining, God doesn't tell you stuff. And like, he completely failed to alert me to the recent panic in our economy. That just feels to me like the desperation has to be, I think
so. Yeah. I'm willing to go there, but yeah. So in the first bit, it's one of the most striking things about it for me is that it's completely, aside from the music, there's no words for fucking, I don't know, 14 minutes, maybe longer when he first gives that presentation to the people. I'm an oil man. But for that's like 15 to 16 minutes in the movie, and it's just he does say no, and he does say like there she is when he gets the gold or the silver, but that's it. And I just really love the elegance of that, how much is conveyed through silence and ellipsis, just jumping around in time, that kind of thing.
I found there were quiet spots throughout the movie, because I did notice that the soundtrack was. I did notice the soundtrack. I don't know that I care for the anxiety soundtrack. We've done a few movies now,
Yeah.
that have utilized this tool. This whatever they're playing at with the horrible. I don't know if that's a violin,
Mm-hmm.
but there's basically like an anxious sound that's used to like grate on you while you're building. I think that I'm becoming less appreciative of it the more movies in succession I see using that anxious soundtrack technique.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you guys feel about that. The first time we did it with Punch Drunk Love, and I was like, that's brilliant. That was brilliant use of that soundtrack. Now that we've done Punch Drunk Love and The Lobster and this, and I'm like, this is not that brilliant. It's annoying. I don't know what soundtrack you'd put in its place, and I still think this movie's brilliant. But I didn't enjoy it as much as I did the last couple times.
I think this soundtrack is. I think if we wanted to make a difference between this and like say Punch Drunk Love and definitely The Lobster is how much the soundtrack. Like, think about whenever oil is presented, it's like, the music gets all wibbly and oozy, for lack of a better term. Like the music more effectively and openly, like it just describes what's happening or carries along.
Yeah, I think that it isn't music. Also, maybe.
Okay, well, it is.
It's more of a soundtrack, more of a backdrop.
Yeah, well, that's fair. I mean, that's what it's supposed to be. That raises interesting questions about what like the distinctions made there, but I think I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah, I'm sure. If we're comparing to like orchestra, Star Wars soundtrack or something.
Sure,
but
yeah.
I know that's not what we're doing. But like, this is not a soundtrack that I can say listen to.
Oh, that's funny. And I listen to this all the time. I own this record.
You're a sick puppy.
Yeah, no, it's
wow,
it's modern,
really?
It's modern. This is modern classical, and it really appeals to me.
That's Johnny Greenwood too.
Maybe I'd like to listen to it without the movie to hear.
It's still pretty anxious. I was giving it a listen.
Well, regardless, at least I can hear them. I feel that I maybe wasn't paying attention to the musical composition part of it then, if it's like actually like a listenable album. So that's interesting.
I don't know. We
caught me off guard there.
We have much different tastes though.
Regardless, I still understand.
Yeah.
Music,
Yeah.
But
I don't. Sorry, I had a thought in there and it fell away. I don't find this movie anxious. Maybe that comes to it as well. I've seen it too many times. I don't worry about what's going to happen because I already know how it's going to end, right? And so I just sort of enjoy the show. I don't. I'm on first viewing. I would imagine, like, I recall feeling much more. Oh fuck! Something's just around the corner, right? But like I already know it's around the corner, right? So I can. I guess I've sanitized it a little bit. Maybe that goes to it as well.
I don't think I've watched it that many times. I don't know that I've watched it since we like dabbled in doing our whatever you'd call that podcast back in the day, which would have been like, oh my god, maybe 20 years ago now, right?
Yeah. I think 10. I think it would have been 2015. Actually, I don't know, 2014. Anyway, we don't need to solve this problem.
Yeah. Anyway, but like, so I was anxious, but you know what's funny? I'm just gonna throw this way out there. This is totally off the topic, but I read that he tailored this character off of some type of a infamous oil tycoon guy, and also Dracula.
Oh, weird. Oh, cool. Like the Gary Oldman Dracula?
Yeah, no, like just like I don't know specifically, but Dracula, yeah.
Like the legend of Dracula.
Yeah,
don't know about.
so-
I
I
don't
can
know
feel
about
that
that.
being true.
I'm gonna need a citation on that one. I know the oil man thing.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that I don't know. I think that was I think that was what's his name? Or they said it was Daniel Day-Lewis that I read. Anyway, I'll find something on that for you. But
It doesn't matter. He's particularly any movie that's about the rapaciousness of capitalism has something in common with Dracula. So I mean, it could easily be true.
go on.
Oh well, I mean, there's in like the vampire. Marx even referred to the capitalist as a parasite, as a vampire. It's a really old metaphor within like sort of criticism on the sort of concept. But even though I don't think that's what this movie is necessarily about, actually. I don't think it's about the rapaciousness of capitalism. I think it's something else. It's definitely about capitalism, but not its... yeah, I mean, I guess we'll get into it. But like, okay, so the movie itself is based off a book that I've never read. The first 150 pages of... What's this guy's name? Ian Sinclair?
Upton Sinclair.
Upton Sinclair. Oil! And that book is about some oil barons, is loosely based off the stories of oil barons who were living, in that era. This is like a 1930s book, and so he's writing about people in the 1920s. I think I didn't, honestly, I'm kind of surprised I didn't write any of this shit down. And so, but it's just kind of loosely based off that, like they, Anderson's like, it was a bad adaptation because it couldn't be faithful, but we fleshed it out, and he did write it with Daniel Day-Lewis in mind. That's certain. And then Lewis did his fucking method to come to the development of Daniel Plainview. And so this story is about a man. It's a typical sort of American frontier story. The rugged individual who, and this gets to the second thing that I found striking about the opening of the movie is that, like, it really reminded me of the opening of 2001: A Space Odyssey with the monkeys, because it's silent and because it has the soundtrack, that screeching, like Shining-esque soundtrack, and just the primitive nature of Daniel Plainview for the first 16 minutes in the movie. And that promise of the crouching primitive rising up at the has its fulfillment at the end of the movie when he beats the shit out of Eli with the with the club. It's
literally a club.
Yeah. In a 2001 opening manner. I don't know exactly what to make of that, but the parallel to me is just so obvious. But yeah, we learn his name from him signing his signature at the silver place, and then we watch him further going through the motions of finding oil for the first time. And I guess the third thing that struck me is the immediate pairing of oil drilling and Christianity, because he baptizes that little kid, and then when he gets the oil from the bit that fell down, and he holds his hand up to the heavens, and it has a religious, like a sacramental quality to it that immediately sets the tone for everything that follows. Yeah,
like literally you anoint in oil in Catholic ceremony. I'm sure Christian ceremony in general. So like, yeah, definitely very intentional.
Yeah.
Do you guys feel okay? One of the funny things for me about this movie is that this is not a hero, right?
No,
this is a villain to me.
Yeah.
Now, in the United States, is this a villain? I'm gonna be mean here a bit, or is this a capitalist god?
Depends on your perspective.
I mean, to me, it's pretty clear perspective that he sacrificed bodies, committed multiple murders, stole a child. He's just a monstrous version of capitalism that's just devouring everything. But I don't see that the Paul Dano character is like a good guy that we're watching like from the point of view of a villain or anything.
No.
He was all that was just like two shysters, like two assholes that saw each other as shysters that refused to see themselves in that light. You know,
competing. Well,
it was anyway. Sorry, I don't know where I'm going with this.
No, I'd even take it a little further. To my reading of this movie, I think that this movie links America's two great grifts, religion and capital, and it is a competition between in this frontier landscape of like which one is gaining ground the most. But I think even like there's a quality to the filmography and like it comes, they're shooting a desert and it's like these barren places where you would find oil, but it just gives it a like almost a biblical feel to me, like the sort of like landscape that it's in, like it's
sure,
like and I think
Eli and Daniel and Abel,
and even the title,
I am the third revelation.
Yeah, There Will Be Blood is an allusion to I think Exodus, like where like God says, I think it's God says like he'll turn the Nile to blood. So like there's all this like prophetic language and sort of overtones.
So and I'm not, maybe this is nitpicking, but he doesn't steal a child. Like he adopts a child who he clearly loves, even though his own pathologies cause him to drive the boy away after that accident. I think of course he says at the end, I did it, because I needed a pretty face to sell oil, but like that's an unreliable narrator at that point. Mm-hmm. And the evidence that we've got throughout the movie up until the accident with the derrick, which it reveals something really like this, that Citizen Kane shit. This is a man of ambition. Like I guess cards on the table. I don't view this movie necessarily about the process of capital as we understand it today. It is like I did some reading about. I read. What's this? I don't know I don't know who the author's name is. I didn't write it down. It's Capitalism: A Global History. And so this movie takes place during the period that economic historians refer to as the reconstruction of capital, which took place between 1870 and 1914. And it's the development of the system that we used to live under up until like, say, 1970. Elements of that world still exist for us, but they're, the foundation upon which it was built was, comes from this movie. And this is when they sought like the control of whole supply chains to create monopolies. These large, like the chief villain, if there's a villain or an adversary in this movie, it's Standard Oil. Nelson Rockefeller, in New York, which controlled 90% of refining, and they didn't own the trains, contrary to what Daniel's opinion was, but they had a special deal with the railroads that lowered their shipping costs. Yeah. And so the goal of reconstruction of capital at this time was, and this is like a quote, independence from market forces. And, they shifted to heavy industry, steel, coal, electricity, rail. That we were starting to see the introduction of fossil fuels and finance capitalism. And we see this movie depicts all this shit. But this is a part of a story of capitalism's transformation prior to the Great Depression. And what it has to say about the present day is like only the bit about the oil. And then otherwise it's a story of one of these individuals engaging in the process of reconstructing capital, who like doesn't just take everything. Like they build these factory towns. Like when he gives that speech, employment, cultivation, all that stuff. Like he actually, like capital does bring these things. Like Espanola, where I was born, we were born, Chris. I mean, like the mill brought all that shit to the town, right? Yeah. And then I got hauled out and left, and the town's falling apart as a consequence. But that didn't mean it didn't bring anything.
It began as a company town, and then they developed. But yeah, exactly. Like these, but it is a grift too. It's like it's the capitalism's gonna like raise all boats, and sort of. But
yeah, you see it in the film too. You see the school, and you see them all eating on these linen tables, and you see you see the church get developed and just grow because the congregation's there and the congregation has more money and then the same thing at the end. Sorry, James, I was gonna the HW. When he becomes the unreliable narrator, you see the flashback of his love, his love for the child and stuff. So that's not. Yeah, I know. I'm giving him too much of a hard time, but I do think that that's a funny thought. But I do see that his ambition like made him a villain, or his whatever. It didn't. It sort of twisted him as the movie goes on. Too, his body twists more. It's
for sure. Particularly after the. Oh no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's interesting because like Daniel, like what you're saying with Standard Oil, it gives us some investment in his journey because it is like the it's that myth is so compelling, the rugged individual against the world, and like the like against this oil company that has this monopoly, which will eventually get broken up into ExxonMobil and like Chevron and all these other oil companies. But he's taking them on, and they're trying to buy him out for here's $1 million, like we'll give you that, you can go take care of your son, and then but it's like no, like fuck these guys, like they keep getting richer, you have a chance to like make your mark on the world. I guess what I'm trying to say is that you're right. Although I feel like there's such an infernal presence to Daniel Day-Lewis in this movie. A lot of the time when he stands there looking at the oil after the fire, just like the fact that it's coming from the ground, like he's so like there's such a malevolence to him and a malice at many points. And I think that's my favorite part of this movie is just like the portrayal of like this simmering evil in him. But it doesn't necessarily have to be that way.
Yeah, I suppose not. But the absolute power corrupts, and the fire, like that scene is so just beautiful and majestic. Like what are you looking so miserable about? There's a whole ocean of oil under our feet. And HW is fucked up, and he knows it, and like it's the breaking point where you're like, and this is the strongest argument for villainy, him and that, and when he abandons his boy,
it's like a Faustian bargain because like the sacrifices that he's gonna have to make all like over and over again, like of his humanity and all this shit.
Yeah, and then he says he hates everybody and whatnot, but like he is insane, right? Like I'm not saying he's a good person, but I just don't think this movie's interested in heroes and villains.
No, I agree.
In any respect, but it does want to tell the story of a titan of industry in a particular era that was very formative for then and now, especially, right? Like the oil element. Like it's so strange to think that this is a global warming movie, like a climate change movie, without ever being a climate change movie.
Yeah. And I feel like there's an element to me, to the way I like, part of the reason why I love this movie is that by not picking heroes and villains, it just feels like it's a story of the soul of a nation in development, and Daniel's type wins out, and I'm very happy to carry forward that vision of America.
Wow. Yeah, see, that's one of my problems with the movie is that how often do you see movies without the protagonist? And then the funny thing for me is that I feel that he is a protagonist because I think that he is sadly in this instance, like you're presented with him as the grifter that does more good,
In what way is he a grifter? I like because he swindles the Eli's Abel. Is it because he gives them quail prices? Is that what the grift is?
Yeah, all that above.
Because he does actually deliver oil to people, So I'm not saying it's good or whatever, but maybe I want to define our terms. Like
He does.
when I
even,
think of a
even,
grifter,
even when he's doing the town, even when he makes the deal with Eli, he never pays him $5,000. He's a piece of shit and it's consistent.
Yeah,
he definitely
At the
doesn't.
very
He's a
last scene,
piece
he
of
wants
shit.
5,000 with interest.
Yeah.
And he never got the money.
Honestly, though, like I wouldn't give any money to Eli either. I think that's what allows me to be okay with that behavior, because I'd be like, "Fuck you, Eli. Fuck you," and you're like the antagonism between Daniel and Eli is not just the antagonism of grifters; it's like an antagonism of metaphysics. Because Daniel hates. I like all things, like if they're all good. But he truly hates prayer and superstition, and he gets when Eli shows up. So at the final scene, my reading is that Daniel's obviously aware of all the misfortune that has hit Eli at that point, and so when he wakes up and he just starts fucking chugging booze, and he does like a shuffle on like a little mini run just to power himself up. It's because he's been dreaming of this moment. He's like, I've woken up into a dream in which I get to do the thing that I wanted to do to this guy. He's come right into my home. It's a dream come true for him.
Yeah. It's true, and then he wants to enact the shame that Eli pulled. The stunt that Eli pulled when he was trying to buy the Bundy farm or whatever.
Yeah. Bandy patch.
Bandy. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was when he realized the old man was like a real devout. Well, also the old man discovered that he'd murdered his fake brother.
Yeah.
Or that was implied. I don't know.
Oh no, he definitely murdered him and buried his body.
And the old man definitely figured out.
Yeah, I think so. One of the best parts about Daniel in this movie is just how often he gets fucking stone drunk and falls asleep on the ground. Even when he's making money, he's just this animal at any given moment. Like that primitive figure that we met back in 1898. Like that guy's still there throughout all of it. Even like when they wake him up for the accident at the derrick.
Yes.
He's just like fucking out on the floor. I love that.
Is that what he's like? Who died? Like what was his name? Like he doesn't know his workers, and like that kind of goes to the grifter thing too. Of like this is a family business, and like it's all this image that he's created of taking his son so that he could sell. I want to just respond quickly to the Eli thing. Like it's not so like fuck Eli. He is also a grifter of just like a petty one, and one who's met his match. Like
that's a goddamn hell of a show. Over.
Yeah, but the father, like the kindness, sort of like of the farmer living out on the land, and like that. There's something about like that land is barren, like they can't get bread on it, but like he's giving, we have some potatoes, like, you showed up on our land to hunt quail, have a meal with us. Like it's just, there's a very sort of decent humanity to him, which Eli then attacked. Like, and I think that's one of the ironies of Eli, the sort of like, preacher who can't honor his father or mother, but like he tells his dad that he's stupid for like taking the terms, but like, he's just like, he's a farmer. He's not a deal maker. He can't get at the oil, and like had they got any money for it, then that would have improved their lives greatly, I'm sure.
Yeah, and it's not as if Eli. So okay, there's a lot of pairings that happen in this movie. So you've got Eli / Paul, which is a weird, like the fact that they're twins. I didn't actually clock in my first viewing that Paul was a completely different creature than Eli.
No.
I thought that I was just like, oh, okay, they're going through like this pretend thing, right? But anyway, obviously it's clear to me now. But you've got basically Eli takes the role of Cain, and Abel takes on the role of Abel, but it's a father-son Cain and Abel relationship rather than two brothers. And then Daniel and Eli have a similar relationship. And Daniel also is very aggressive towards Abel. And so there's also this, like, no more hitting.
That's true. Actually,
yeah.
as I was saying that, I remembered that the guy beats his daughter, like his little girl, because she doesn't pray hard enough. So fuck that guy too, I guess.
Yeah. And like that, and then obviously Daniel and Henry, the murder that happens there. And so there's a lot of getting back to the biblical element. Like this movie portrays the reconstruction of capital and the development of fossil fuel technologies as figures it as a Cain and Abel story in a number of different figurations. And so that's how sin enters into the world in a sort of way. It's like, I guess behind that would have to be Adam and Eve and fundamental human nature and that kind of thing. But like the real drama is the strife between the brothers, which is also described as the strife between father and son.
There's something about...
go ahead. No.
I was just gonna say there's something about masculinity in all this too, and like I was thinking about Punch Drunk Love, and Daniel's rage in comparison to Adam Sandler's rage, and like there's just maybe a theme in like these masculine spaces in Anderson's movies. The difference with this one is that like there are literally no women in it, and like almost like the family that he talks about is almost completely homosocial. And like there's a kind of like God, like a father and son, like a God and like even Christ relationship between Daniel and HW, but like a twisted one.
I think it's the discourse of friendship. So I thought about early modern uses of the amicizia, and it held like it wasn't just like someone that you were palling around with. It was someone who was like your business partner. You're a reliable person that you have a sort of credit with, that you could exchange with. And so we see that very often. Like when he gives that first speech, we offer a bond of family. So he says it, a bond of family. But then he also goes on like to say, like, I can get favors, things go by friendship in a rush like this. And later on, when when Daniel Day-Lewis calls his business partner, he says that Paul guy turned out to be a real friend to us. And it's all sort of like gangster talk. And anytime it's my simple thesis that most government and most social organization in life resembles a mafia. And, something like that is at play in this as well. So yeah, and that goes into the homosocial element that you're referring to, right? This is this is the world of men.
Yeah.
It's dark and fucking toxic.
I'm actually just watching him wake up on the floor as you say that. He's completely unconscious on the floor after the barbecue event where he asked the little girl so the hitting stop.
Yeah.
So is this is to me also rings with like anti-religion and sort of that capitalism abolishes the evil superstitions where people beat their daughters,
Yeah, I think,
and cleans up the town and educates people and is just like sort of the correct religion, like a religion versus a religion, right? Yeah. And then the better ones propped up as capital.
I am the third revelation.
Yeah,
right. So that's there, right? I'm not crazy.
No. I think you're right. One thing that is really interesting about this movie is exactly that. And one thing that's conspicuously absent in this movie is any role for the state. Like if you were to imagine this story taking place in Deadwood, someone would be talking about fucking cocksuckers in Washington, that kind of thing. Completely absent in this. And like the story of capital and the reconstruction of capital cannot be told without the role of Congress, like et cetera, right? And so that's interesting, right? And it is also, like it represents a sort of secular drive or a civic religion instead of a sacred religion. Or a fucking shyster religion. I think, okay, sorry. I do have more complaints about Eli and his, like, or not complaints, but like descriptions and things to say. But The connection between Christianity and big business wouldn't occur until the Cold War, until the New Deal, as a matter of fact, when major conglomerates and business interests formed some sort of national association, and they're the ones who largely popularized the connection between Christianity and capitalism in response to what they viewed as atheistic communism, which is another reason this movie feels like a little. It is about us, but at the same time, it's about like the platform from which we grew, like the soil, but less the actual experience.
Yeah.
Anyway,
you can feel the competition though, like even when Daniel approaches Eli about, like they're, like my men are at your church praying and like they should be resting because like we're having these accidents. Like there's like it is competing systems. I just don't know if it's a better one. I think it's just like one that wins out, or like greed is more powerful or more skillfully handled through this.
Because you're right. He's like, my men have been working 12-hour shifts. They don't have time to go to time to go to church. They have to be working those 12-hour shifts and not coming to church. But Eli, and I guess this is the thing that I wanted to say, his like, get out of here, ghosts, like that. That's that whole that goddamn hell of a show that he puts on. It is not, it's insane, and it doesn't produce anything. Whereas Daniel, like, I guess he's strictly speaking not producing anything either. He's extracting. And I suppose maybe that's the parallel. Eli extracts from humans through complete bullshit, and for Daniel, he extracts from the earth. And bullshit is a useful tool in that process, but so is a mallet and a derrick and engineering know-how. And I think it goes. And sorry, I'll stop talking in a second, but I think it goes down to the irony of Eli yelling at Abel and saying, like, do you think God will save you for being stupid, or however he phrases it? And the irony in that moment is that like Eli is ultimately revealed to be the most stupid one.
Yeah.
And that gets to James's point about the anti-religious aspect of this. Like, there's nothing about Eli that is any good.
No, in fact, going back to Paul Dano, I enjoy his performance because like I don't buy him as a charismatic preacher. Like I think like if you listen to what he's saying in those sermons, like I will come you. Yeah, exactly. It's like all fucking crazy nonsense, and like it's just like he just comes across like a sniveling Gollum-esque creature. But I think that's great because like I think that's a great because I can enjoy Daniel more and his contempt. Like I love the malice of like when he's just mocking, like even when he's at the baptism and like the Eli's slapping him.
Oh my god! I want
God?
the oil.
Where is
Give
he?
me the
oil. yeah, it's fucking awesome. And like,
give me the blood.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah. Sorry, I've got he's like, I want the blood. I want the blood. He's slapping him and he like shakes his head, but at the same time, it's also a confessional for him. Like I've already alluded to it. I abandoned my child. He does feel badly about that, particularly after he kills Henry. That's when he has this big cry and decides he's going to bring back. Sorry, what's it? HW, and thank you.
What an incredible scene. The camera distance, like the fact that it's like pulled back. Oh, that does my heart good. It just starts slapping him, like laying into him.
Yeah, it is not. Oh, that's a really good point. Yeah, it is not. That camera angle, like that camera distance, really does make a difference to the scene because, like, not only do you get to see the full body action, it represents the distance between them. Yeah. But Daniel, like he lets him hit him, like he does stop him eventually, but there's a sensibility to him. He's something of a good father early on in this movie until the accident. And there's something about the lack of communication, like the son's inability to hear, which would be incredibly difficult for anybody. But like, I think if we wanted to psychologize a little bit, like at that point, Daniel, it's like a weakness is entered into his world, and he can't submit to that weakness. That's what's really hurting him, because like he's been so strong. Like he pulled himself out of the desert with a broken leg to sell a bit of silver. Like the will and ingenuity that he displays throughout all of this in a really hard land, doing a really hard job, and doing it extremely well is challenging, to say the least, you know, and the sort of psychological pressures that one puts oneself under. It's like, I'm not excusing it, but it makes sense psychologically.
I like that reading, because even like when he's talking to Henry, and like you get that real like sense of him, like, I hate most people, and like just like his real heartfelt feelings, because he's opening up to this guy, because he says he can't do it alone anymore. But when he's talking about his son, he's like, maybe can you get your hearing back? Like doctors might not know, but it's clearly occupying his mind in a real way, that he's concerned about the son and hoping that something can come of it.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just watching him. Sorry, like when he's at the dinner, he gets HW back, and then he put the oil guys sit down across from him, and he puts like, he's just getting really fucking like, he's drunk and angry.
That's one of the things where you said like the animal just like sometimes he can't contain it.
Yeah. That's exactly it. He puts that towel on his face so that way HW can't read his lips. But it's just like, it's so insane. Well, just like I think when like we see him later on in life in his mansion, in his Howard Hughes mansion or whatever, and he's just shooting things, drinking, stumbling around drunk. His kid wants to leave or whatever. You bastard in a basket.
Again, very biblical.
Yeah.
That like that house symbolized, like it was when he's confessing to Henry, like that it was that house that, or he talks about wanting to build this house that he saw when he was a kid. Like he always wanted it, but now like it might make him sick. And like there's nothing that desire is ultimately going to do for him. It's like he's going to get everything he wants, but like you kind of see the end result of that. And I think finally with HW, like he talks about how he wants to, like, he hates everybody. He doesn't want to see anyone succeed at anything that isn't his own thing. I think there's that narcissistic element to his love where like, HW, great, like, but you're destroying my image of you, and now you're competition. And so, if you step out from under the shadow and try to do your own thing, and you're not just me or an extension of me, then the venom really comes out.
Yeah, that makes you my competition. I think I view the house as like, and this gets back to what I was saying about the under the restructuring of capitals, like the independence from market forces. What does he say? And like, this is what you were alluding to. I want to earn enough money so I can get away from everyone. That's all he wants to do. And the sort of, once again, irony of that is like, we meet him in the desert. He's practically like a monkey, right? He's away from everyone. So what does he really want? Right? Like he wants to beat everyone and like to sit upon a throne high above them. So he doesn't want to be a hermit. He wants to be a sort of exiled king.
Yeah.
And then once he's able to be the exiled king, like nothing changes about him. He's just shooting. He's falling asleep on the ground. When one of his competition comes in, he beats him with a pipe, like a fucking club. Yeah. Very, very compelling character. there's just something. Yeah.
We all want to be Daniel.
Yeah, I'm just watching The Fire now. I think you guys all kind of, you nailed it when you're talking about HW and the like, and HW was sharp. He felt that there was a weakness in him after that, and he changed. But the funny thing was, I don't know that I picked up at the first time that HW was the one that discovered that Henry wasn't his brother very early on, and found the diary in his brother's real diary in his bag, and tried to alert his dad by setting the cabin on fire because he just didn't have any other way to communicate.
Yeah. Okay.
That's my reading on that. And then I don't I don't know. Like, I don't know if this is like subtext or if I'm taking it too far, but I felt that when Daniel finally buried Henry, which was a god awful scene, by the way, just putting a fucking glove on his face and shooting him in the fucking back of the head with like a low caliber fucking ladies pistol, and he just kind of sizzled there, like, oh, that was grotesque. But anyway, he, when he found the burned up journal of his brothers, I felt that he understood that HW did that, was trying to communicate with him at that time. But I don't know that never really explicitly said or anything. But
that's interesting. I did not make that connection. That's entirely possible. I don't. It would add something to it. Say that again, sir.
No, it's not directly when he comes back, because then Bandy makes him join the church in order to get the tract.
Yeah, and then I abandoned my child, and then
and back, but it's the whatever, the cleansing of the confessional that sort of, I guess, maybe brings him back. But
yeah, when he's digging that grave and the oil's bubbling up too, like such a good detail.
Yeah, and he's reduced at that moment back to like he can still I can dig a hole, like he's got no problem digging a hole.
And everything.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know, man. I think this. I don't know. It's a hell of a fucking movie. Goddamn hell of a show.
Hold on, we got to talk about the milkshake.
Well, I felt we were getting there. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, okay. So I guess, what about it though? Like other than it being incredible, one of the things. So I went to go see the. What's the full story here? Yeah, I guess I'll start. We went to go see the drama last night with Pattinson, and I noticed that he has fantastic veins in his forehead, 2 big thickies, which I'd never noticed before. And that's another thing that Daniel Day-Lewis has as well, is just these thicky veins on his head, and he can just bring them to the surface in an insane drainage. And it's like, holy fuck. Just very, very intense. And to Paul, back to the Paul Dano thing, I thought I was in that moment, and I was just like, to play against that and to have to like stand your ground against this force of nature that's just like bearing down on you. I thought he did great.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're not.
He is. He was excellent. He is excellent in anything I've seen him in.
Yeah, we got to get back to Gangs of New York. We got to finish that bad boy up.
Yeah, no, sorry, I meant Paul Dano.
Oh, I see. Yes, he's good. He's good too.
Yeah. It is.
Did you read the thing where apparently because he was another character was originally supposed to play, another person was originally supposed to play Eli.
Yes.
And just like sort of based on his performance, Anderson was like, you know what, you're the guy. But he didn't have that much time to prepare either. And I didn't realize he was only 22. Like when you said that, holy shit. Yeah, like that's a hell of an assignment. Good for him.
Yeah.
Also the kid who played HW, just like fun bit of trivia, like his mom wasn't sure if he's just like a school kid locally. And so his mom didn't know Daniel Day-Lewis, and she decided to like investigate. And so she picked Gangs of New York since she brought it up as the movie to watch. So she was like then flipped out, and like they had to like emergency like send her like I think it was that Innocence movie, Age of Innocence, where he plays like just sort of like a gentleman. Like then she was like, oh, okay, he's not a good
okay.
psychopathic.
I thought
madman.
you were going to say. I thought you were going to say they had to deploy the dump truck full of money.
that might have worked too. Oh,
Yeah.
greed, as we see, is a powerful
Yeah.
motivator. But yeah, I guess
So-
there really isn't much to say about the milkshake thing, except that it's fucking incredible, and that just the absolute malice behind it is burned into my brain forever.
And
I thought it was funny too because they made
hilarious.
it. They made. I think they made commentary a few times about how just like, and it was that's part of his problem with like existing. Like why he's so tortured is just that people are stupid, and you know
Yes.
he doesn't like to be around these people, whatever.
Yeah.
And
he extracts...
that's like the whole thing was like I bought the land around you, I fucking sucked your oil, you're an idiot, you don't understand, you know.
Yeah. Do you
And
understand? That's more to the point, Eli. Yeah. It's an amazing culmination. It's like and it also manages to tie together the major conflict in this, which we've already identified as like the conflict between it's set up as a conflict between evangelical Christianity and frontier industriousness. And for all of frontier industrious's evils, it just comes out on top ultimately. And I think we see this with like Rush Limbaugh and Alex Jones and conspiracy radio culture that flows from that evangelical grift culture. Like they'll shill for capitalism any day of the week. They need it. They can't handle. They're not independent of market forces. Not like real money is. Not like real power is. I think that the government really ought to have a role in this story, but it would have lessened Daniel Plainview, as a Titanic figure, for him to have to it's hard enough for him to have to fight New York, let alone Washington. So I get it. Yeah. Weird thing about Daniel Day-Lewis in this. I hadn't thought about it until the most recent thing. He looks like my biological father with that mustache.
Oh shit. Wow.
I was like, oh, that's fucking trouble. Obviously, he's more angular in Hollywood and shit like that, right? But I was like, that's my fucking dad, and I was like, oh, that really adds a couple things to this movie.
Wow.
Anyway, I think that's the. You got anything else?
No, just a beauty.
No.
Just
yeah. I gotta say, like,
watching.
It's it's a 10 out of 10. It's one for the ages. It's just like I'm never, unlike Zero Dark 30, I won't just put it on, right? Like I'm like just for a lark or something like that. Fair. Like that. Yeah, this is just something that you're gonna want to. I'm gonna put this on because I'm gonna get a full story and a big American story.
This is it's funny you say that too, because this is one of those ones where remember Sicario and the one we watched prior to that. Anyway, I went scrounging around through my stupidly large movie collection and just didn't have them, and went, oh, okay. And this I did have.
Yeah.
You have to.
You can't deny it. Yeah.
You watch it once and you're like, if I don't have that, I should have that. So yeah, there it was on DVD in the bowels in the B section. Yeah.
And it maybe I don't know. I don't know what the final thing we'll say is, but I found, having learned that this movie came out in the same year as No Country for Old Men, and as much as I really, really admire and like No Country for Old Men, that feels like a very unserious movie in comparison to this movie. For all of the themes and menace, and like it just feels like more like a dime store detective story, like a real pulp event, whereas this feels like more like an opera or something. And they're both good in their own ways. But it's a different register, and I don't know if you agree with that or.
I want to argue with you, but I don't want to ruin the momentum of your ending.
Oh, you.
No.
Yeah. Go ahead. No. Like I'm not. Yeah, that's
I
not
agree.
my summation.
Sorry, I'll just cut it in super quick and just say I agree with James. I don't know that No Country for Old Men was ever like a groundbreaker for me. I thought it was okay. And I do find it pulpy. I do find that like it's got like a Tarantino like something to it.
Right.
Then this doesn't. This is film. But anyway, but yeah.
Yeah.
But I want to hear the Chris.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm a big McCarthy fan, Cormac McCarthy, that is, and I do, yeah, like it does come out of noir, but I think No Country for Old Men is the kind of like allegorical version of it. I think they're dealing with the same territory. I think
They
there's
really
there's
are. Yeah.
the level of like the sort of like infernal undertone of the American myth that is being played out in both. So I think it's an appropriate contrast. Yeah.
I think I'll compare it to, and this gets to the pulp sensibility, where like No Country for Old Men isn't really, for all the things that it is, about. It's, I guess it's like high drama in the sense that it's about fate, and the intertwining of fate and the fickleness of fate and that kind of thing, and that's big. That's sufficiently big. But at the end of the day, it is a movie about a serial killer who's on the run, trying to get someone who stole something, right? That's pretty small. That's pretty petty. This is a movie about the titan of industry and the rise of one of the major natural resources, which are wreaking havoc upon our everyday life at any given moment, right? Like I could go on and on about like the distinctions in scale and relevance.
Let me say this then.
Yeah.
In No Country for Old Men, the stakes are your soul, and like how you're buying in to like a bigger thing or like a bigger ambition in American society. And I think that's fundamental to McCarthy's vision of like this sort of like new Western, and the sort of like I think he's often commenting on like the soul of America as well. So I think they're similar.
I'm picking up what you're putting down. Like they are both. No, I think you put it well. I don't have anything to add to that. Yeah. So
it's all just the glittering suitcase from Pulp Fiction, like that's.
It's just funny for these two movies to have come out in the exact same year, and for the one to have like knocked the other out of filming for a brief bit. Like that blew my mind.
Yeah. Faces are tied together.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
All right.
What's going to be beautiful next?
Oh yeah, thanks. I appreciate you. So we're going to be doing some JLA comics next, just because I wanted something easy for us to read that would be kind of fun to talk about and cool to look at. Some Jerry Conway and like, what's his name? O'Connor? His name Paul O'Connell. Fuck, I can't think of his name right now. But anyway, it's just like a 4-issue JLA story where Despero comes back to fight the Justice League Detroit with Batman recently attached. It's a fun and interesting little story. But this is Eat the Rich April. So what the main events after this are American Psycho, where we look at capitalism and like finance capitalism in New York in circa 1980s. And then later in the month, we're going to be doing The Social Network, bringing our story of the development of capitalism up until the development of surveillance capitalism where we live today. And I think we're doing something else in there at some point, but as far as Eat the Rich April, that's
Punisher, I think, right?
Oh, that's right. We're going to finish Garth Ennis's Punisher, that's going to have absolutely nothing to do with Eat the Rich, but it's going to be a banger. It's going to be great. So let's do that.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for visiting with us this evening. Now, I've traveled across half our state to be here and to see about this land. Now, I dare say some of you might have heard some of the more extravagant rumors about what my plans are. I just thought you'd like to hear it from me. This is the face. It's no great mystery. I'm an oil man. Ladies and gentlemen, I have numerous concerns spread across this state. I have many wells flowing at many thousand barrels per day. So I like to think of myself as an oil man. As an oil man, I hope that you'll forgive just good old-fashioned plain speaking. Now, this work that we do is very much a family enterprise. I work side by side with my wonderful son, H.W. I think one or two of you might have met him already. And, I encourage my men to bring their families as well. Of course, it makes for an ever so much more rewarding life for them. Family means children, and children means education. So wherever we set up camp, education is a necessity, and we're just so happy to take care of that. So let's build a wonderful school in Little Boston. These children are the future that we strive for, and so they should have the very best of things. Now, something else, and please don't be insulted if I speak about this. Bread. Let's talk about bread. Now, to my mind, it's an abomination to consider that any man, woman, or child in this magnificent country of ours should have to look upon a loaf of bread as a luxury. We're going to dig water wells here, and water wells means irrigation. Irrigation means cultivation. We're going to raise crops here where before it just simply wasn't possible. You're going to have more grain than you know what to do with. And bread will be coming right out of your ears, ma'am. New roads, agriculture, employment, education. These are just a few of the things that we can offer you. And I assure you, ladies and gentlemen, that if we do find oil here, and I think there's a very good chance that we will, this community of yours will not only survive, it will flourish. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have. Yes?
Will the new road lead to the church?
Well, that'll be the first place that it leads. Thank you, Eli. Anyone else? Well, if anything comes up, I'm pretty easy to find. You just come visit with me. Thank you so much for your time.